Tympanometry, calibration and controls. Here we have the equipment, turn it on, wait for it to load. And here we have the timp is selected and it's for the right ear, and then you can change to the left. Now first of all we calibrate the equipment. So we put the probe into the 0.5 cc cavity where you should see a flat trace, and the compliance and pressure should be 0, with the volume being 0.5 plus or minus 10%. And then in the 2 cc cavity, which again you would expect a flat trace, with the volume 2 plus or minus 10%. Now here we have selected the 1000 Hz test, which gives you a larger range, and this is what we use for children. And for adults we just deselect the high frequency in the child, and it will give you a 226 Hz with a smaller range. Here the right gives you a red light and the left would give you a blue light. Tympanometry testing. Here we pull the pinner back and up, insert the probe, the light will stay on, wait for the trace to appear, and then take the probe out when the light turns off. Audiometry, controls, interacoustics. Here to select audiometry, press the button, red for the right, blue for the left. Press manual. This button increases the intensity and this button decreases the intensity. So press this button to increase the frequency and press this button to decrease the frequency. So we press this button to present the tone. The circle indicates that the tone is being presented. When the rectangle flashes, it indicates that the patient has responded. And press store to store the response. Audiometry, controls, complex. So turn the power on at the back. Wait for it to load. Red to select the right ear and blue to select the left ear. And to increase the intensity of the test signal, press this button. And to decrease the intensity of the test signal, press this button. And to present the tone, press this button and the light will flash. And this is the patient responding, and the light will flash. And here to test the bone conduction, R for right and L for left. To select a warble tone, press this button. To deselect it, press it again. And here we can increase the frequency and decrease the frequency of the test signal. Here we have the masking controls, red for the right side, and we can increase the masking by pressing this button and decrease by pressing this button. We can control the side of the masking noise by pressing these buttons, and press the off button to turn the masking off. Audiometry, calibration. Put the air conduction headphones on. Select the right ear and start at 60 dB. Go through the frequencies from 250 Hz up to 8000 Hz. And now we go down to 20 dB and go through the frequencies from 8000 Hz down to 250 Hz. And you would do the same for the left ear. Now we calibrate for the masking. Select the right ear with the tone at 60 dB going through from 250 Hz up to 8000 Hz. And then we reduce the masking noise to 20 dB and go through the frequencies from 8000 Hz down to 250 Hz. And you would do the same for the left ear. And now we calibrate for bone conduction. Place the bone conductor on the mastoid. And here we can select the right and the left ear. And now we calibrate at 40 dB from 500 Hz up to 4000 Hz. And then we go down to 20 dB and go through from 4000 Hz down to 500 Hz. And you would do the same for the other ear to check that the equipment is working on both sides. Audiometry testing. Here we place the AC headphones on, making sure it's securely fit. Select the right ear. And here we are presenting a 40 dB tone at 1000 Hz. The patient has responded. We go down in 10 dB. The patient hasn't responded, so we go up in 5. Patient hasn't responded, up in 5 again. Patient responds. Down in 10. Patient hasn't responded, up in 5. Patient hasn't responded, up in 5 again, and patient's response. So our threshold is 30 dB at 1000 Hz. We then plot that on the audiogram with a circle for the right ear. Now we're going to test for the left ear at 1000 Hz, 60 dB, present the tone, patient response. Down in 10, patient response. Down in 10, no response. Up in 5, no response. Up in 5, patient response. Down in 10, no response. Up in 5, no response. Up in 5, patient response. So the threshold at 1000 Hz in the left ear is 50 dB. Plot that on the audiogram with a cross. Now we're going to test bone conduction. Put the bone conductor on. We've placed it on the left mastoid, so we'll start by testing the left bone conduction. 1000 Hz, 40 dB, patient responds. Down in 10, patient responds. Down in 10, no response. Up in 5, no response. Up in 5, patient response. Down in 10, no response. Up in 5, no response. Up in 5, patient response. And now we plot the threshold of 1000 Hz at 30 dB with a triangle. Now we're going to present the masking noise. Cover the non-test ear only, which is the right ear. And to present the masking noise in the right ear, press this button. Now for masking, the masking noise comes in at 30 dB, the test tone at 30, no response, up in 5, patient responds, so we increase the masking by 10 dB, no response, up the test tone by 5, no response, up by 5, patient response, so increase the masking by 10, patient responds, up in 10, patient responds, up in 10, patient responds. And now we plot the masked bone conduction threshold using this symbol. Once a test is completed, join the AC thresholds with solid lines and the BC thresholds with dotted lines. And make comments of the test at the bottom. And this completes the hearing assessment report.